All right, I'm looking at another Fibble. This is the game that's just like Wordle, but in every row, one of the clues is a lie. Starting us with tumor. I'm kind of thinking something RM seems like the way to go, maybe. We would need all new letters. Otherwise, we could do charm. It's pretty good. Okay, well, one of the M's is a lie, so there's definitely no R. Could we do CH? That would mean that there's no M, so the M would be the lie in tumor. That's fine. We need an A somewhere, though. It can't be third. So something like this, but then... Oh, I don't know. I don't know if that... well, we could do EA. CHEA, cheap. Cheap would work. Ooh, okay, well, one of the C's is a lie, one of the H's is a lie. Everything else is true. So there is no M. That's the lie. Perfect. Okay, awesome. So we can't have CH because that would make both the C and the H lies. Now we can have the C and then we could have an H somewhere else, but we need to have EAP. So the thing is, if there's a C at all, well, if there's a C at all, it has to be at the beginning. But also if there's a C at all, then the whole thing is an anagram of cheap, which has to be something like this. You know, cash would work, but that doesn't, I don't think that's gonna work. I don't think we can have a C. I think that's gotta be true. This is the lie, this is true, which means there's no H either. So, and we can't do the A third or fourth. So we can't do, we could do APE like this. Something like, well, we could do apple. Apple would work. Ooh, okay. Well, we got no contradictions there. That's interesting. We know there's an E, so we can't do apply. Well, we can't do that many things in the same positions here. So, could we do PE? Oh, we can't do PEA. If the E were at the end, it would have to be PA. We could do this. The E would be the lie. But what would be the other two letters? PAI something? E or... Ooh, that's interesting. So we can't do PA, I don't think. What if we did SP and the P was the lie? Oh, but then the A would have to be at the end. It would have to be EA. That's not really gonna work. Okay, so... we know there's an E, an A, and a P. The question is just, are they all in new places, or is one of them a lie because it's supposed to be green? I still like the idea of PA. I'm just not sure what I would put in the middle. What about passe? I think that's spelled like that, right? Ooh, okay. All right, so again, no contradictions. But, at this point, if the P is true, then the A is either second or last. Okay, so maybe we do PE with an A at the end. But what's that gonna be? PE, well, we need new letters. But then the other problem is, look at Apple. This makes the E, the A, and the P all true. So the P or the L has to be, there has to be either a second P or there's an L. Something like this, but that's no good. Or another Peppa Pig? I don't think so. But, actually, no, this doesn't work. Well, it kind of does. You'd have to also have an S, because it makes everything true in here. So you'd have to have a P or an L, another P or an L, and you'd have to have an S. Pepsa? Pespa? Pesla? No, it's not going to work. So this can't be true, actually. This has to be the lie. Which means the rest of these are true. Which means the A is at the beginning or the end. Okay, but the P can't be second if the A is first. It also can't be third, and it can't be last. So it would have to be here. And the E can't be at the end. Or it would have to be AE It would have to be this if you put the A at the beginning. So the A can't be at the beginning, so that's got to be true. Okay, if you put the P here, then so actually that means the A is at the end, which then means the E is not at the end, so this is true. Okay, so the E is first or second. Something like this, maybe. But then you need can we do this? Is there a thing with a double, I don't think so. I don't think so. So, if you do the P there, then you have to have an L. I don't know. How am I not coming up with this? Okay. So, I don't think the E can be second. I think the E has to be first. Then we could do the P second. Something like this. What? What is this? Huh. Okay, so maybe the P isn't second, but that makes it true. So then the problem becomes either it's a lie here and you need two P's, which would be, it's got to end in A. That, or P is here and you've got to have an L. I'm missing something. I'm missing something. Because this is not working. Okay, did I make a mistake? Let me go back. Let me go back. I said this had to be a lie. Can this be true? That makes either the A is the lie, and then, I mean, this would, well, no, you can't do the E at the end then. So then the E, if we do the A there, then the E has to be here. And then we have to have an, oh, we could have an L, L-E, oh, like this, paled. Okay. Well, one of the P's is a lie, one of the A's is a lie. Everything else on those two rows is true. Okay, we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. It means this is true. There is an L. Okay, there is an L. So, P-A something E-L. Is that panel? Oh. I don't know how I decided that the P at the beginning had to be the lie, but that was the problem. That was what messed me up, put me down the wrong path. But we got there in the end, even though it took us 6 guesses and a decent amount of thinking in the middle there, so. All right, well, I wasn't quite guessing the right things, so let me know if you had a charming solve today, or a cheap solve, I guess, or maybe it took you a while and you had to stop to eat an apple in the middle. I don't know. Let me know how your solve went, and of course, be sure to subscribe for more.